Hey everybody, it's Will. We're back with another edition this Monday night of Creators Outlet with our special guest, Nandor Shaffer. Did I get that right?
It's a Nandor, actually.
Nandor, okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
I got the middle and the last right, so you know.
Oh yeah, you got most of it.
It's Monday. I'm just having my first cup of coffee tonight. I had like 3 this morning. But before we get into this, we want to give a big shout out to our sponsor, SpinWiz Comics at spinwizcomics.com. It is a webcomic and indie comic discovery platform. It is free to download on both iOS and Android, and it's loaded up with free comics to read. That's right, I said free. What is better than free comics? It's great. There's over 86 independent publishers on the site, with over 400 titles available to read. There's new stuff added just about every week. There's publishers on there such as A Wave Blue World, Marcosia, and our friends over at Source Point Press. And here's what it would look like on your cell phone. Please go check them out for yourself. Download the app today. Give it a nice 5-star review. We're trying to get them up to 100 downloads and 100 5-star reviews by the end of the month. Right now, we're with our special guest, and we want to talk about his Kickstarter that is very close to being funded. Tell us about the book, and this is the 2nd volume, so there is a big backstory to this before we even get into this book.
Right. Yeah. So on Kickstarter right now is Seasons Volume 2 Summer, and like you said, it's the 2nd volume in the Season series. I launched the first book on Kickstarter a couple of years ago, and it successfully funded. So we're back for Volume 2, and it's really exciting. Seasons is a supernatural superhero story that follows a young man through 1 year of his life, and with each passing season he gains new powers and abilities, so his power set changes depending on the season of the year, and each book kind of has a different kind of like enemy and like obstacle the main character has to overcome and face towards his own like personal growth and journey that he has. So I have it on the page, like fans of James O'Barr's The Crow, Midnight Nation by J. Michael Straczynski and Gary Frank, The Sculptor by Scott McCloud. It's been compared from some people like American Gods by Neil Gaiman and Preacher. So it kind of has a lot of like a lot of symbolism and supernatural elements, but it also has that grounded superhero feel. It's really exciting. I've been working on it. I started working on it about 5-6 years ago, and so we're Volume 2 right now, and things are looking really well for it.
And how many pages are in this volume?
120, just over 120 pages.
Oh, so that's a nice fat graphic novel right there.
Yeah, and that's what the first book was too. So with each book, definitely they're going to be over 100, 120 pages each, and it's really rich black and white artwork with some colored pages every now and again to like add some visual and kind of narrative weight to it. Something about the series is we're going to be adding color with like each book, and it's meant to kind of convey the idea of the main character trying to find wholeness and purpose, and the color there is at the really like important character moments for the main character.
Now, is this the same team you worked with on the first volume?
It is, yeah. And it's really just me and my artist, Anthony Gonzalez Clark. We did the first book, and we're back for the second one. And so it's really just a two-man show. We do everything together, and we storyboard together, and we talk through the series, and it's really a great collaborative partnership and friendship that we've made, and we like to keep everything kind of like as in-house as possible, so it kind of keeps us focused and on top of things.
And did you know him long time running before you guys worked on the first volume?
No, actually, I had written the script for the first book, and I was, in need of an artist, and so I was artist hunting for a while, and I found him through DeviantArt. I saw a piece that he had done. It was a piece from It's a Wonderful Life. He did a really great rendition of like showing the detailed of Jimmy Stewart and Donna Reed, and it was just a really great piece. And so I looked at more of his work and sent him an email, and he was looking for work at the time, so it was just like a perfect time to get together. And he wanted a series that was, like I didn't have just an idea. I actually had the script, and I knew what I wanted. I knew where I wanted to go with it, and so we kind of had a roadmap. And I had all my part done as the writer and the creator, and so we started together there. We did like a test page, and I really loved his work, and the way we were able to collaborate, we just really melded really well together. And since then, we started posting it online at the website that I have, seasonsthecomicbook.com, and every Monday and Friday we post new pages, and this was in 2016, and we just kept posting pages and spreading it around and sharing it. And then in 2017 we launched the Kickstarter for the first book,
and that obviously was successful. How well did that campaign go?
It went very well. We hit our goal and had over 100 backers for that first one. So it was really encouraging and really motivating, since I had never, this was my first book, my first Kickstarter. Seasons is like volume 1 is my first of everything, really, when it comes to kind of a big creative writing project. And so I marked a lot of boxes when it funded, and the reception has been great. I've had really great blurbs from like Jason Brubaker and Brian Michael Bendis, and some other comic review sites. And I have that on the Kickstarter there too, where kind of some quotes and some Amazon reviews from different people that read the first book. And I have it in shops now, like in local stores, and I've been doing conventions, and so like the reception so far has been really, really great and encouraging. Now,
did you grow up reading comic books, or was this something that you came into later?
Oh no, I'm definitely a big comic book nerd. I grew up reading comics. I really got into comics in the like Brubaker, Epting, Captain America run, and started getting them on a monthly basis around that time. And then I started just diving into the whole mythology and the whole lore of Marvel and DC Comics. And I watch a ton of movies. I'm big into Star Wars, and big into Doctor Who, and so I just have always really appreciated how powerful the art of storytelling is, and really absorbed a lot. And I had wanted to do a creative project. I didn't know exactly what it was. After I had kind of finished high school, I was looking to see, like, should I go to college? What do I want to do? And for some reason, I came up with the idea kind of out of nowhere, that I thought, if I were to do a comic book, what would that look like, and what would it be? And I'd always loved superheroes and comics growing up, but I thought, okay, if I were to write anything, what would that look like? And I thought, like superheroes are amazing and they're, inspiring, and I love the different characters and their powers. And then I thought, what if there was a character where, their powers changed, and that was really the germ of the idea for Seasons, because when you're a fan of Superman, or you're a fan of Wolverine, and you can name any character. It's like when you get to know them, you love them for who they are, and what they can do and how powerful they are, and etc. But I thought it'd be really interesting to kind of change that dynamic, and kind of keep things fresh. And so I wanted to see what that would look like, and that's what really made Seasons what it is, and kind of helped make it grow as an idea.
Well, the character to me made me think right away, being the big nerd that I am, of Ultra Boy from Legion of Superheroes.
Oh yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because he had all these powers, some of which were like, Kryptonian deprived, and or Daxamite style powers, and
Right.
along with other ones, but he could only use one at a time. So if he used it wrong, splat. He could be, dead or close to.
Right.
And yours is like a little different than that, but some of the same tropes, I'm sure, must be used.
Well,
because when the seasons change, his powers change.
Yeah.
So, springtime, he could be flying, and then the season changes, and all of a sudden he can't fly anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's.
Yeah, it keeps him aware of his limitations, and what he can and can't do. And he's discovering all this, for the first time. And it's really interesting because in summer, since this is volume 2, this is the first time he actually notices that about himself. Because us as the reader, we know like what the characters, what's going to happen with the character. Like, okay, so like that's kind of the hook of the book is the fact that his powers change, but the character himself doesn't know that. So when it happens, he has to really think about, okay, wait a second, what is happening to me, and why is it changing, and where are these powers coming from? And in summer, that's really the kind of the driving force of the character's motivation, is trying to understand why this is happening to him, and he's searching for answers. Because in the first book, a lot of things are happening at a really kind of whirlwind type speed, and he's has a lot to deal with in the first book, and now he finally can think about what is actually happening to him in this one. And so it makes for some really interesting kind of themes and ideas of where he's trying to understand why this is happening to him, and why him specifically.
It's definitely a different approach to any kind of superhero story.
Yeah, I really really strove to I didn't want to do anything really too tropey. You're always trying to kind of push the boundaries. At least I am, when it comes to the kind of stories I want to tell, and I always want to spin something on its head, and make people feel like they're interacting with a fresh take and a new character. And when they read Seasons, they're not gonna think, oh, like this has been done before. I've seen this before. It's you're really gonna look at it and think, okay, this sort of feels familiar, but it's taking it in an entirely new and kind of a different direction. And so it makes everything feel really fresh and and exciting, and you can really get invested in the character and in the series.
Yeah, you have a superhero with bipolar powers. They can change on a whim every couple of months, and he can't tell what's going to happen. Now,
right.
let me ask you, because you said you started the first book not long after getting out of high school. So how old are you now?
I'm 23.
Oh, and I am depressed. You're 23. You've been a nerd apparently your whole life. You like a whole bunch of cool geeky stuff, and you're about to get your second comic book published.
Actually, my third. I
Third.
actually had a second book in between volume 1 and 2 called Lifeline that I worked with. I worked with 7 different artists from all around the world, and it was a life story of this one man, and each chapter took place in a different decade of his life, and was told from the perspective of a different character. So I wanted to work with, and there were so many artists I wanted to work with, so I really tried to come up with an idea that would help, embrace the indie community and embrace other artists and bring them together for one book. And that was successfully funded on Kickstarter too. We raised $5,700.
Wow. And that whole idea just sounds cool. One, especially in the indie community.
Yeah.
You just gave 7 artists some work.
Exactly.
And you combined it into one book, and every chapter is a new decade. So not only is the look changing because you have a new artist, but it's being told from somebody else's perspective.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that is, that makes me want to read it right now.
Yeah, it is. It is available on the Kickstarter. There's a bundle where you can get all 3 of the books that I've made, including Volume 2, which will be releasing, because we have most of Volume 2 done. It's just a turnaround time with finishing the last few pages, and then the printing and shipping. But there's a pretty good discounted bundle that I have on there for people that want to read Lifeline. The book's called Lifeline as well. So yeah, it was a really great book to work on, and I got to work with so many great people. And every time I look at the book, it always makes me really proud of it. And it's a very simple story, but it was there's a lot of intricate detail and a lot of ways that each chapter is woven together that made it a lot of fun. And seeing other artists, depict the same character over time really is amazing and really fulfilling as a writer and creator.
Yeah, because I assume they all had like basics, and then you'd be like, okay, but you have to make them this old, and then you have to make this old, and then you just let them go. It's like, okay, do a page, right. Show it to me. That looks amazing. Keep going.
Right.
So let's take a look at the Kickstarter.
Yeah, for sure.
Boing. And okay, so I can jump over here. So right now you have 81 backers. There's still 12 days to go. And you're just about 1,100 short of goal right now.
Yeah, we're really close.
So yeah, here's the cover. It's all the cover art is all done in like a red hue. It looks like a very violent thunderstorm.
Yeah, it's really cool. So the first book was purple hue, and the second one's red, and all four will have a different color palette to it. And so we for summer we wanted to do kind of a red, striking red one, and the cover art is, I absolutely love it. And something we want to do is, if we hit the goal, there's a stretch goal where we're going to be adding some embossing and some gloss to it, because it's the first book was a matte hardcover, and the second book will be that as well. But we'd like to kind of, bring it to another level and add, some more like kind of texture to it and some more like a deluxe feel to it.
Yeah, that would be cool, because this cover is just popping right there.
Yeah, I know. Like Fletcher, the main character in the center, it really has a 3D effect with his fist, down coming out. And I'd really love to like raise him up, emboss him and like, add some gloss, and it would just like look amazing.
Yeah, because his hand comes like right out of the frame.
Exactly. It's like perfect, it's like the perfect opportunity.
Now, I tell this story with every Kickstarter when we start looking at everything that's available to pledge on.
Yeah.
About 6 months ago, when Graham Nolan was launching his Kickstarter for the Chenoo,
mm-hmm.
he somehow renamed the pledge without a reward $10 tier to buy Graham a beer.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
And it must have been good beer. Like hundreds upon hundreds of people bought him a beer at like $10. I'm like, that's got to be like a 40 ounce of Guinness or something.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Then we have some quotes here. Jason Brubaker. My opinion, these guys are the new generation in talent. Wow.
Yeah, Jason Brubaker, he provided the foreword for the first book. Yeah, and there's some reviews.
The praise for seasons. Studio Jake Media. Brian Michael Bendis. I'll try not to cut him down because I hate everything he's done to DC.
I understand.
Especially my Legion of Superheroes. I mean, I didn't even come onto that book when it was new. I only looked that old. But I've been reading reading is a strong term. I've been at least looking at the pictures in the book.
Right.
I went from just looking in the pictures and making my own story up to looking in the pictures and just reading the bubbles. I didn't want to read the narration because, oh man, that's a lot of words. It's so long. And then, right around the age of like between 8 and 10, it broke through and I read everything in the book, including the letters pages. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the older, books that I look at a lot, they really crammed a whole ton of text in a lot of those, and I can't even imagine trying to read that as a young kid. I never would, either. I would just look at the pictures and read what I could.
My mother used to force me to read books, like a chapter a night.
Oh, yeah.
But she would at least buy me books that, would at least be enjoyable somewhat to like a kid. So I had all these Hardy Boys hardcovers.
Yeah.
That I never read. I just looked at the covers because they were cool. So she stopped buying those. But, even though I had watched the movie, I had to read The Unidentified Flying Oddball from Disney back in the 70s. And yeah, so you got 3 different really good Amazon 5-star reviews. That's awesome.
Yeah, I was really thankful for those. They seem to really enjoy the book and love the look of it too.
And it was a hardcover, so that's even more.
Yeah, it's a really good price. $20 for a hardcover. That's 120 pages.
Oh yeah, Marvel will charge you $25 for a hardcover that's like 28 pages.
Yeah, I know.
Let's see. So you will like Seasons if you like J.O. Barr's The Crow, which I do. Midnight Nation by Straczynski and Frank, which I have yet to read. The Sculptor from Scott McCloud. Works from Manga Creator. I'll let you do that name because Takayo Inui, Slam Dunk and Vagabond, and of course Akira I know quite intimately.
Awesome.
I still have the square bound comics from the 90s. I own
sick. Yeah.
I own 3 copies of the movie, soon to be 4. Cause I'm like, well, my eyesight is horrendous, but it's coming out in 4K. I've got all the other versions. I might as well get this one.
Oh yeah, you can't miss that 4K for sure. I do that with my movies too. Like I'll have them on Blu-ray and DVD already, and I'm just like, well, it's 4K. Like, gotta get it.
It's got to be a special movie for me to buy it again.
Yeah.
Like Akira and Ninja Scroll are like my 2 favorite anime films.
Oh, awesome.
And this side view just to show the volume in the volume.
Yeah. We always like, trying to give people an idea of what it will look like, especially people that don't have the first book.
And it's black and white except for certain pages.
Yeah. There's some accented color pages, and those are on there as well. We can get to those the more we scroll down. But it's black and white, but it's it's definitely not. That doesn't do it justice. It's like there's a lot of detail when it comes to the effects and the ink wash and a lot of great kind of mixed media that Anthony does.
Yeah, I'm sure it looks a lot better. It'll also look a lot better on the paper in front of you than it will digitized on the screen, because you always lose something. So you have to
kind of have to compensate for that.
Yeah, you gotta squish it in there so it fits their
like the file size and the formatting. Yeah,
you got to get the right pixel size and everything in there. Well, let me just tell you, his artwork is phenomenal.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a fan. I'm his biggest fan.
This page right here just blew my mind. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, that was one we worked really hard on. I provide a lot of the layouts, and we work together on the positioning of a lot of the panels together, and it really goes to show just how important it is for collaboration. These pages wouldn't look the way they do without the amount of care that we try to put into it. And we'll have storyboard sessions that go on for hours and hours, just trying to make sure that it's the best it can possibly be. And he always brings his 200% every time.
I just hope I don't have a nightmare tonight, because I see a guy in a wheelchair in the top left corner, and I myself am sitting in a wheelchair, and the last thing I want is the floor underneath me to give way because I can't.
Right.
I can't attempt to run and get away. So, yeah, he's definitely mastered the art of black and white beyond.
Yeah, I mean, I've yet to see anyone that can do what he does. Do it so well. It's like and the cool thing too is like you don't feel like you're losing anything either. It's like I can't even imagine. Of course, I know it looked beautiful in color, but there's something beautiful in just the the rawness of what you have here.
Well, not just that, but if you brought it to fruition in full color, nobody would be able to get a nice fat hardcover for $20.
Yeah, that too.
And just for the fact, like, even if you're flipping through and you see like color highlights, some stuff has just happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Boom. I couldn't even read that without my glasses on. Well, now. Think I like this page.
Right. Yeah, that's a good one. All of them are good.
This gives me like a Ghost in the Shell vibe.
Yeah. He's Anthony. Yeah, loves Ghost in the Shell and a lot of the same manga that we do. Yeah, and that one was done mostly traditionally, and then he went into it and worked on it digitally and touched it up. But there's actually in the first update that I posted, there's some examples of his original work, and that's one of the pages that people can get if they want to back at the original art tier. So it's really, really beautiful page.
Hey, an original art is always something wonderful to walk away with from a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
You went from like all that action and the different hues and the different wash effects to, well, outside of what looks like the entire town has been decimated, but some very clean line work. Like from complex to like, straight, and then something happened. It's all in color.
Yeah, that one's one of my favorite pages because you can tell that the way the panel layout is as if time is moving, like a hand of a clock is moving, and the sun is setting with each subsequent panel, and by the time you get to the end, you can see the color fading and then the black and white coming back in.
Now, was there a reason, like a big reason behind the spacing of Volume 1 and Volume 2?
Do you mean like time frame wise?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we did is after Volume 1 came out, I shopped it around for a while to different publishers, and also was going to conventions and trying to get it into as many stores as I could. At the same time, we were still working on Volume 2 behind the scenes. And then he had a baby, and I was moving, and so there were just some real life things that kind of got in the way of us getting to Volume 2 sooner rather than later. And we finally hit our stride recently, and got a lot done and a lot of work done together. And this year really provided a lot of time and effort from both of us that we put into it. So there were just some logistical, scheduling issues, but we really have all that figured out now, and plan on releasing Volume 3 and 4 a lot sooner than it took for Volume 2 to come out.
Yeah, the real world can be like a nuisance sometimes.
Yeah, definitely.
And we go into the characters. Fletcher, a young man at the center of it all, used to running away from everything and everyone. Has he changed from who he once was? Heath, representing the nature of air. He acts as part friend, part mentor to Fletcher. However, he can't help but feel his life is fading away before his very eyes. Judith, a siren of sorrows representing water. Her screams are the lightning, her tears are the rain, and her rage is the storm itself. Baker. I'm thinking right away just from looking at Baker that he's the bad guy.
He's one of them. Yeah.
His anger boils and courses through his molten lava veins. He is a ticking time bomb representing fire. In the two sides, order and chaos. Aiden and Xander. See, that I can read upside down too. Order and chaos, life and death. Can they and Earth itself withstand one another, or do they carry an eternal bond? And then we go into rewards. Pledge $20, one hardcover and the PDF. $30, one signed hardcover and a PDF. $40 gets you Volume 1 and 2 and Volume 2 PDF. $45, one exclusive art print, one signed hardcover book, and the Volume 2 PDF. $50 will get you Collector's Volume 1 and 2 signed hardcover and Volume 2 PDF. $70 original art sketch, art print, hardcover and PDF of Volume 2. $80 collector seasoned 1 and 2 plus Lifeline and Volume 1 and 2 PDF.
Yeah, that was the book we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. It's kind of a neat cover. It's got the kind of like the hot monitor spelling out Lifeline.
Yeah.
But then he's got smoke coming from his brain.
Yeah.
I've had many days like that. $90, your name in the book. Art print, original sketch. Oh, that's cool. Signed hardcover and Volume 2 PDF. Your name. That would be funny if you didn't put somebody's actual name, you just put your name.
Right.
Boy, would they be mad. They look like this guy right here. Pledge $125. Drawing of you in the acknowledgments. So you get like a little sketch of you in the acknowledgments of the book.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and everything else before it too.
Yeah. So just to clarify, the sketches aren't going to look like these, right?
No, that's just for comedic effect.
175, Drawn into the Seasons, Volume 2 story. So you get to appear in the book.
Yeah.
You get the PDF of the book. You'll get the art print. In 250, original page from Seasons. So you'll get the book, you get the art print, you get the sketch, and you'll get an original page of art, which is pretty damn sweet.
Yeah, it's a really really great deal. A lot of people have told me I'm being too generous there, but I really believe, that's the way to go when you do a project like this. A lot of people are trusting you, and I really want to give back to the community and give back to my backers.
Yeah, you give them something back. Word of mouth spreads, and us nerds. We get something cool. We hang it on our wall.
Yeah, that's right.
and we want to show everybody. So stretch goals. If they get you up to 6,500, you'll do the deluxe hardcover, which is the spot gloss UV and embossing on the cover.
Yeah.
Get it to 8,000, and you will do expedited shipping for everyone. That is huge right there.
Yeah, I really wanted that to be an earlier goal because I really want the book sooner rather than later, and I know the backers do too. And I thought, what a great stretch goal idea for everyone, and if we can hit that, then everyone gets their book sooner.
Yeah, I backed a campaign about 45 episodes ago. I've gotten the PDFs of the book, but he's in Alaska, and his artist is in the Philippines.
Oh, wow.
And of course, their printer is in China.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, so I got to look through the book, but I know it's
still haven't gotten what you paid for.
I still haven't gotten the physical, and I bought the expanded versions of both.
Yeah.
So you read the actual full issue, and then you flip past that, and it's got original art, just pencil. It might be pencils and inks, but it's at least the pencils.
Mm-hmm.
Like on the right page, and on the left page is the page of script that goes along with that.
Cool.
With all the notes and stuff. So I thought that was neat, and it was only a couple bucks more. So I was like, screw it. And that when I first started doing these shows, I couldn't help but back just about every project that I came across. Right. And then one day I went and tried to swipe my card for $100 box of comics at my LCS, and both my credit cards were empty. And I'm looking, and I quick get online. I'm looking at the spreadsheet, and I'm like, oh shit! I had 17 crowdfunders hit my credit card all within 3 weeks.
Whoa!
And I'm like,
oh. Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I can't cancel any of these. I go, especially that one. I backed the Umbrella Academy board game.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I go, oh, that's not a bad price. Usually games are well over $50. And so many stretch goals open. So I got a whole bunch of stuff that would have cost me an arm and a leg. And then I see it and I go, it still cost me $65 because of shipping. But so have we unlocked these yet, or
not yet?
Not yet. So you're just keeping these secret down here. Okay, I got you.
Right. Yeah. I'd like us to. Yeah. Well, when we hit the first one, I'll reveal the new one.
The new cover. Yeah.
Yeah.
and then expedited shipping, and $500 after that. You get a season sticker, which when it hits, you will reveal the what the sticker looks like then.
Yeah, well, actually, we're working on a prototype right now, what it will look like. So I'll be updating the campaign really soon, and we'll show an example of it.
Cool. And then if it goes past that, you'll just unlock some really cool stuff that you're still thinking about.
Yeah, I have a few ideas, a few things up my sleeve, but I want to, when we unlock the first one, the deluxe hardcover, I'm going to reveal the $9,000 one, and then with each one that we unlock,
you'll reveal another one down the ladder.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that way it keeps people, kind of interested in seeing what new stuff we can make. And there's a lot of stuff I'd love to do, like patches and pins and all that kind of cool stuff, T-shirts. So kind of thinking about those and what they'll look like, and hopefully we'll have some prototypes, when we reveal it, so it gives people a better idea of what it'll look like.
So if you're interested in this campaign, you can find the link for Kickstarter either up above or down below, depending whether you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube. The link for the Kickstarter is right in there. You can, if you just want to pledge without a reward, you can click the $10 box right at the very top to help the campaign on its way. A pledge of $1 or more will get you a season's #1 PDF.
Yeah, and that's the entire first issue.
That's very generous.
Thank you. Yeah.
Pledge $5 or more, seasons 1 spring PDF, over 120 pages. Now, what's the difference between the first one and the second one?
The first one is issue 1, so issue 1 in the spring storyline, and that's the there's 4 issues in the first spring volume.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I gotcha. Yeah. So for $1, you can get the PDF of the first issue, so you can read the entire first issue, and then run back to the campaign page and buy more because you're going to want more.
That's right.
So $5 or more, you'll get Seasons Volume 1, which is the complete Volume 1.
Yeah.
$10 or more, you can get Volume 2. Or better yet, if you're all digital, you can pledge $15 or more, and you can get Volume 1 and Volume 2 PDFs. That way you can read them and write an Amazon review for Volume 2.
Yeah, for sure.
$20 or more is the Volume 2 summer hardcover. And hardcovers are awesome. I used to keep joining the Sci-Fi Book Club just to get these oversized hardcovers and really cool books. I would pay it off, I would cancel it, and like 3 months later, I would join up and get the bonus free books again. I have this giant Lord of the Rings book that is the first 3 movies. The 3 movies as far as Lord of the Rings go.
Yeah.
And they're all in this one book. My adult hand just barely fits around the book enough to, pick it up.
Awesome.
It's got a way. I say it weighs about 50 pounds. I know it doesn't weigh 50 pounds, but it weighs a good 12 or 14 pounds.
Yeah.
It's easily like a 12-pound book. I mean, if I had that here on a bookshelf and somebody was trying to jimmy my door, and my Glock was too far away, I would just pick up that book because I know as long as I hit them with that book, they were going to be out cold for a week. I could actually drag them to Mordor.
Right.
$30 or more. Collector's Seasons Volume 2. Back as this reward, we'll get signed collector's edition hardcovers of Seasons Volume 2, summered by both yourself and Anthony. Well, that's cool. Both you guys are signing the book now.
We did that.
Are you guys far apart now, or?
He's actually moving himself, and he'll be still in a different state. But he's been living in California, and I live in the Midwest here. So what we'll do is we sign the book plates that are with the collector's edition volumes, and like I'll sign them and then I'll send them to him, and then he'll sign them and send them back. And then we'll put them on the books and ship them out to the backers. But he's going to be closer now after he's moving in the Midwest as well, so it'll be a little easier that way.
Oh yeah, get the hell out of California. Get away from crazy Newsom there.
Yeah.
Pledge $40 or more, you can get Seasons Volume 1 and 2 hardcovers. $20 a piece. You can't. That's it's a 120-page hardcover for $20. I mean, you can't ask for much more than that.
Right.
And $45, you get the same, plus you get an exclusive art print. So you get some cool art to hang up on your wall. And we've gone through the rest of these. It was just the handful with the digital and stuff at the beginning that we hadn't gone through yet. Now, who would you say when you first started writing? Who was some of the biggest influences on your writing?
Yeah, I'd say Ed Brubaker from his Captain America run, and the stuff he did, with Criminal and Fatale, and I love the way he writes inner monologue and character with narration and such. And then in terms of structure and the way to kind of weave a story together, Jonathan Hickman was a big inspiration to me. I love the way he can tell a bunch of stories, within a larger story. And to me, those are the most exciting and most satisfying and fulfilling comics that I've read. I read all of his. I basically read everything he's written because I just love everything he's done. And I'd say those two. Jeff Johns for sure. His Green Lantern and some of his Superman that he's done. Also, some of the ones I mentioned there on the Kickstarter page. The Crow was a really big influence on. I knew I wanted Seasons to be a black and white comic, and I really wanted to do something kind of in the vein of The Crow. And when I found Anthony, and I could see that he could deliver that, on really kind of close playing field. I thought, this is the right way to go with it. And because The Crow is timeless, and it's black and white, and I kind of wanted to do something around along the same lines. But I'd say those, and then of course, not in the comics world, but like George Lucas and with Star Wars, and the head writer for Doctor Who for quite a few years, Stephen Moffat. All his episodes that he wrote, those were always my favorite So I looked at that and tried to kind of analyze and figure out why why these moved me so much, why they were so powerful, and I would just look at all my favorite stuff and think, how can I kind of give back, and share some of the same um, feelings that I get from these stories and how powerful they are, and give that back to other readers. And so I wanted to do that, and um, those would be the biggest influences on me.
And if you could pick any talent in the comic world, living or deceased, to work with, who would it be and why?
Oh man, that's a great question. I think, I think it would be Jonathan Hickman. I'd love to write a story with him, or at least play it. If he had a series and he was like, "Hey, Nandor, can you write like this fill-in issue, to my series?" I would be in love with that. That would be amazing. That would be like the all the validation I needed.
It's going to fall in between this and this perimeter, but other than that,
right.
get me a script.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I loved his Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Because I'm a huge Doctor Doom fan. He's my favorite Marvel villain. So.
Yeah, I mean, he wrote Doom so well, and FF, and I loved what he did with the Fantastic Four. He really looked at their history and looked at what made them such a great team in the first place, and just knocked it out of the park with how much he did and what he brought to the table. It blew my mind at the time. I actually have reread that run because I loved it so much, and why I love Hickman also is because you can reread his stuff and you notice things you didn't notice before. A lot of the time, you'll read comics nowadays and it's just very straightforward and kind of shallow in a lot of ways, and there's no point, kind of throwaway entertainment. There's no point in rereading it. But with Hickman stuff, everything you get kind of has a meaning and a purpose behind it. And when you look back, you see a lot of foreshadowing that you never noticed before, or that you were confused about. And then you look back and you go, oh crap, this is what he was, really, really pulling for, and what he was trying to hint at. And it makes the whole experience even better.
Yeah, I think Hickman and Lemire are like the two best writers in like the last 20 years.
Yeah, I really love Lemire too. His Moon Knight that he did with Greg Smallwood was freaking genius. I loved it. And of course, Black Hammer and the Question, that was coming out with DC's Black Label, and that's really good too.
I've been going through boxes because I do all these podcasts basically Monday through Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I pretty much sleep all day Saturday, and and around 8 or 9 o'clock on Sunday night, I go live, and I've been selling off some of my collection because before I was disabled,
Mm-hmm.
I used to make good money. I was a nightclub DJ.
Oh yeah.
So tips and all that kind of stuff. So I made a lot of money. I was supporting, raising, and spoiling my daughter pretty much whatever she wanted. And I was still like, I got all this money left over today. What do I do? Okay, let's go to the comic shop. And I would just, buy everything. I think I'm going through, and because they get scattered between boxes, but I still have like the fold out for Battle World
Mm-hmm.
from the Hickman Secret Wars thing. And I bought, I think, all of those miniseries. I might be missing like 1 or 2 issues here or there, and I just want to, I want to complete it. once I complete it, I'm going to sell it and just wait and get an omnibus of the entire thing, so I have it all in one spot
Right.
on a bookshelf. I've got the same thing for the original Age of Apocalypse.
Yeah.
That
That's
one,
awesome.
however, I scored on Facebook Marketplace for $20. So now you're looking. What's fulfillment going to look like on your end now?
So yeah, all we have to do is finish the last pages in the graphic novel, and then we're gonna, compile all the files together, get it out as soon as we can to the printer. We're looking for early next year release, so probably around April or May. But that's why we really want to get to that expedited shipping, and we can even cut that time even more in half. So that's what we're really hoping for. But if not, it'll still be around early next year.
Now, is your printer local or is it overseas?
It is, yeah, overseas. It's a Print Ninja in China, and they did the first book. So we wanted to make sure that we kept the same, style and the same format as the first one for everyone, so that they can all, look good together on the shelf. But I would love to. I have some other projects in the works, and I really want to do U.S. printing would be really preferable.
Yeah, because the turnaround time would be quicker. There is a new platform out there that is designed. It's just for indie comics, and it's specifically designed to get indie comics into U.S. stores.
Oh, cool. What's that?
It's called IndieCrowdfund.com.
Okay.
Artist Mindy Wheeler, she's done a bunch of work for Dynamite, covers pinups. She's got 2 or 3 indie titles of her own.
That's awesome.
They even wrote, and she's doing all the art for an indie parody book of an overly endowed female cosplayer and the troubles she has with costumes.
Nice.
Called Boobs. And the sale from that book is going 100% right back into the platform.
Oh, great. That's great.
And they've got like over 35 stores on the hook, so indie people like yourself can put up a campaign for a certain amount of time. These stores will, look at the app to see what's new.
Mm-hmm.
They see something that they're interested in. They would contact, they would put a contact to you. There's no gatekeepers. Mm-hmm. And you guys would just work out a deal amongst yourselves. Then you just ship like a big box of seasons to them.
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks for letting me know that. I'll look that in.
I know one of the stores that's in there is the Collective down in Florida, they do like a huge indie business.
Cool.
And whenever they get like new indies in, they are prominently displayed in the front of the store.
Whoa, that's awesome.
Like right at the front counter.
Yeah.
And another store that I know of that is big into the indie scene is Space Cadet Comics.
Okay.
Jen King store. You can also find her on the Comic Book Shopping Network right here on Facebook.
Awesome.
There's like a dozen stores involved, and they just basically run live sales 24 hours a day from store to store to store to store. And but I know those 2 stores in particularly, Space Cadets is like a huge store. I think they're either in Kansas or Missouri.
Oh, cool.
One of those states around you.
Yeah.
Because anything this side of California and this side of Boston, to people that live on the coast, that is Midwest.
Yeah.
From New York to, from New York to California is
LA. Yeah.
that big section of 85% of the country is,
the rest of the 48 states.
Some people even think Alaska and Hawaii are like in the middle of the country someplace, but they're not 3 feet off the shore of Washington State either.
Right.
Do you have any plans if restrictions lift and we're able to do conventions next year?
Oh yeah, I would love to do C2E2 for sure. That's one that I feel like I could do well at, and also wouldn't be too bad of a travel drive or anything like that. So I'd love to do C2E2, and I'd love to do New York Comic Con next year if I can. I've done a couple local conventions, and I hope the one that I have in my town, I hope they do it. They didn't a lot of of course conventions didn't do it this year, and but I'm really hoping that next year they do it, and I'll have volume 2 out, and I did really well there last time. I sold like 40 books, and so I'd love to be back and do that again. But yeah, those are what's on my horizon. If they do lift the restrictions, I'd love to do C2E2, New York Comic Con, and some of my local shows.
Yeah, the 2021 wish list.
Yeah.
Which one? Conventions, so I can get rid of some of these hardcovers I have.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people, I know, creators, do a certain percentage of overprint so they can do that. Do you do that as well?
Yeah, I do. And that's something I like about the printer that I work with, Print Ninja. They always give you a 5 to 10% overrun just for working with them, from the number of copies that you would normally make. So that's really handy. And yeah, I always want to keep extra copies because volume 3 and 4 will be coming out, and people will want the ones before it. So it's always good to keep those handy and at ready. And that's what I did with volume 1. And so a lot of people that are just finding out about the series, they want volume 1 now. So it's really, really cool to keep those with me.
Yeah, it's a lot better than having to go back to print. And
yeah, I wouldn't want to do that.
And you don't want to do that because you don't want to order so many that you're giving them away for Christmas for the next 5 years.
Right. Right.
Now, tell me about the sketches that people can get from Anthony if they choose that tier.
Yeah, so they're going to be inked sketches of other characters in the book. Last time we did Fletcher, the main character, and his shadow self, and some of the other side characters that were in the first book. So it's usually like a 4x6 like frame to it, and it's a sketch by him, and they're very, very well done and really cool, and great incentive for people.
Yeah, because his black and white work is amazing. So
yeah,
I mean, like, well, I'm going to do this and then I'm going to paint it for you. No, leave it black and white. If I get it color and people read the book at my house,
right?
What's that? He goes, oh, that's original art from the artist that did this book. No, it can't be. That's in color. So this is 100% different because it's like a superhero version of Kiefer Sutherland's 24.
Right.
Because, it's like a year.
Yeah, it's set in real time, for sure. I loved 24 growing up. And I thought it'd be really cool to follow someone in real time, and what would that look like. And when people get all 4 volumes, eventually they can read it, reread it, and really see the cohesiveness of it, and get that whole 1 year vibe.
Oh yeah, you can read it. You once you get all 4 volumes, you can just read it straight through.
Yeah.
Because that's what I do with some of the trades I get.
Mm-hmm.
If it's like volume, I'll read them as I get them, and stack them up and put them away.
Yeah.
And then once a series is done, not novels, because I'm like, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Once I read a novel, I'm like, even if I don't remember it, I remember that. That was great. And there's like some huge novels that I want to read. We were talking to Mike Barron a few weeks ago,
mm-hmm.
and I mean, I'm old, so I came up with him creating Badger, and him and Steve Rude on Nexus, and Mike has like this huge, like, fat Nexus novel, and every time somebody talks to him, he's shilling those because they're all the ones that haven't sold yet are stacked up on his wife's living room table, and she really wants the table back. Plus next year he's releasing a Badger novel. And in between his 2 novels, Steve Rude is releasing his own Nexus novel.
Oh, wow. Cool.
And I'm like, that's a lot of reading.
Yeah.
I must read like at least a dozen comics a week, 3 or 4 of them just for like mini reviews for the channel and stuff. But it's just like,
oh yeah, it piles up for sure. I always have a stack waiting for me, and it's always a little intimidating, but once you just get to it, it works out. But there's still a lot of books that I have, and graphic novels I have that I haven't read or haven't finished.
Yeah, I know. Like I was going through some books, and I got very disappointed. I go, ooh, Marvel .1. It's like $100 book. Kamala Khan. And then I look at the cover and I'm like, that's the wrong Marvel .1. I'm like, oh, I just can't catch a break.
Right.
But we've got plenty of time left on the campaign.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we got 12 days.
So that's just about a week and a half.
Yeah, and compared to my other campaigns, this is for sure the fastest growing one. I remember for Lifeline the last week, I had to raise I think it was just well over $2,000, and I made it. And then kind of the same for the first volume of Season. So I can tell that fan base has grown, and people that have read my work are coming back, and hopefully it just gets easier from here. So that's really, really cool.
Well, it's amazing after that last Lifeline week that you're not as bald as I am. You might have pulled all your hair out on that one.
Yeah, it was really daunting. But yeah, a lot of supporters came for that last week, and that's why always the first week and the last week are always the best. For campaigns. So
people get notified in the first week, plus they see your PR popping up on indie pages, your page, websites, and various podcasts like this that you appear on, other people will see it and they'll follow it to there, and then you get that big dip, and then they come up the other side of the half pipe.
Yeah.
On the last week, and it blows up because some people are just like, yeah, this looks cool, and then they'll just click the remind me button,
Yeah.
and then they'll forget about it, and 2.5 weeks later, ding 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 in their email, and they're like, oh yeah, and they're like, wow, lots of people are buying this book, I better buy this book, and then they buy the book.
Right.
So usually like the first week or so, and then it stays steady, but dips. It dips low, but stays steady with like a few people here and there.
Yeah. Right.
A couple people a day or whatever, and then the upswing, the last like 3 to 5 days of the campaign, usually it'll just get lit up. And
yeah, exactly. And that's I'd love to get funded, of course, hopefully in the next few days to week, and then kind of have a nice last week of extra pledges to help get to those stretch goals. But it's really nerve-wracking always in the in between. But then I have to remind myself, like, hey, the numbers for this one are better than the other two, so I shouldn't worry too much. But still gotta promote it and share it, and let people know that it's a really good deal, and this book is even better than the first one, and I really believe in it and want people to read it and to hear what they think.
Yeah, I just tossed the link for the Kickstarter in the chat, so you can just quickly click on that and head over to check it out for yourself. Definitely do not wait to the last week, because tell as many friends as you can, and spread the word around, because everybody, not just the creators, but everybody that's already pledged to this, would love to see the stretch goal of expedited shipping show up.
That's right.
Because, expedited shipping is a huge thing, especially when the books are coming in from what a certain inker friend of mine, Mark, would refer to as, it's not a joke when all your books are printed in China. It's literally the slow boat from China. Because Mark had a book, and it's his own IP, and it got listed up in Diamond, and it was supposed to come out for Halloween, and it was part of it was like an all ages, like little kids book.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be part of the Halloween Comic Fest books, and the book from China got held up, and the book showed up like a week and a half late.
Oh man!
And it was being distributed through Image, and the next thing he knew, he was dropped from Image.
Oh wow!
And back being solo again. So
that sucks.
But he's still going strong with it. He just knows to give a leeway of like an extra month sometimes, and
right.
figure out the change in tide and various seafaring storms at a certain time of the year can hamper production time. So
right.
But definitely check this out. It's a wonderful deal. $20 for a hardcover. $40 you can get both hardcovers together, and you can go down the line from there. So for our friends up in Canada, you have the option whether whether you want the hardcover, which will feel much better in your hand, or you also have the route for the digital route too, because shipping to Canada is like ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
And it's kind of good that fulfillment on this will be like in the first quarter of next year, because next week the Postal Service jacks its rates for the holiday.
Yeah, right.
Apparently trying to make up for that $15 trillion loss they've had in the last 20 years. But yeah, this is definitely a cool book.
Thank you.
If you like anything with like even just like a manga style feel to it, just from looking at these pages, you will definitely love this book. So check it out for yourself. I want to thank you very much for joining us on tonight's episode on what I will call Hell Week.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. The book looks excellent. I hope that first stretch goal gets lit up, because I'm anticipating the look of that cover once he gets embossed. And
yeah, me too. That's what I'm really hoping for. It'd be really amazing.
Otherwise you'll have all those copies of Volume 2, and then you'll have like a special creator's proof there'll only be 2 of those books with that special stuff on the cover.
One for me and one for Anthony.
Yeah. But I can show you what it looks like.
Yeah.
But once again, thank you. Please go check out the Kickstarter, and take your time. There is so much stuff to look at there, and you can read. What do you have, like the first 5 or 8 pages up there?
There's a lot of kind of pages throughout the second volume that's on the Kickstarter. Like some of my favorites, but people can go to my website, seasonsthecomicbook.com, and they can read the first like 40 pages of Summer online for free too, so they can see if they like the story, and if they want to back it, they can get it right there. The thing is, though, we won't be releasing the finale of the book online. It's just for the book itself. So the people that are following the story and love the story online, the only way they can finish the story is if they get it in the hardcover. So.
And what's the website again?
It's seasonsthecomicbook.com. Perfect.
Here we go.
Thank you.
I just had to take my glasses off so I could see the keyboard. Yeah, now I can see the screen. Yeah, so definitely check those out. You get the links, so you can go read a big chunk of the beginning of the book, so you can check it out for yourselves, see if you like it. I'm sure you will. I know you're going to fall in love with the artwork, and I think indie comics are growing in leaps and bounds, especially this year, because you have way more time to work on projects, more time to hone your craft, and all these people stuck at home.
Right.
Once some people started being able to go back to work, or stimulus checks rolled in, and my stimulus check got me a webcam and a microphone.
Nice.
That way I could quit typing. And in March, so many crowdfunders had the option to cancel and then relist at a later date because of actually what was going on.
Yeah, for sure.
And luckily, I know quite a few people that had that option, and they were actually successful on the second time around. But people are starting to spend a little bit more money now, and I think there's just a lot better stories coming out from the indie community than there are from the big two, because for the most part, Jeff Lemire and Hickman aside, basically they're just retelling the same stories over and over and over. It's like, well, we're out of ideas. Well, go take something from the 50s and modernize it. So, I mean, what are they going to do with Batman? Joker War's over. I mean, all I can imagine is Bruce Wayne changing diapers for the next 4 years. But okay, we're going to wrap this up with Nandor, and I will be back tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. with Andy Belanger. We're going to talk about his Kickstarter that launched today, Mother Trucker. You'll know him from Southern Cross. And at 4 p.m. tomorrow, we're going to be talking with Ryland Grant for his new Kickstarter that launched today as well. So until then, read a comic book, back a Kickstarter, and enjoy the rest of your